gorgeous. Hello, kind of in my half pajamas at the moment, doing I've kind of started doing like a Sunday reset in here. So I spend a couple of hours each Sunday just tidying it, like really tidying it, getting it all organized for the week ahead. I'd say day to day, I don't allow it to get hugely messy in here. I'm quite good at keeping things organized and neat. But you know, the chair wardrobe, that always happens. That tends to happen also on this chair. And shoes, I find, get quite messy looking quite quickly. Look how satisfying that looks. All the dust bags are tied up nicely. This is all looking really nice, actually. The last thing I want to do is, it's time. It is time to pack away most of these coats, I'd say. So then this area can be dresses and maybe like overflow of skirts. Because at the moment I've got quite a few skirts and dresses folded, which is just not, like, especially with dresses, they take up a lot of space when they're folded, so it's not the best way to have them stored. But yeah, most of these coats now won't get worn until like mid-autumn. I might keep a few trench coats out just in case, but it would be nice to have a large portion of this dedicated to dresses. And then I have this, I've just brought down this bag has summer bags and a few other like sarongs and bits. So with the bags, I think I'll do a bag in a bag situation and just have them stored up there, because they're mostly just like soft, lightweight bags that can be put in a larger bag. But it's very satisfying just coming in here, a couple of hours, just pop on a podcast and get it nice and tidy and organised. I promise I don't use my cat as visual clickbait. She genuinely spends a large portion of the day in here. I'm just going to close this halfway so I don't bump into it. Although she's completely fast asleep, she probably wouldn't notice if I fully shut the door. Anyway, I need to just flip the viewfinder. I can't see myself. Speaking of trousers, and it finally being a suitable temperature to wear trousers, I need to talk to you about these jeans. Yes, jeans. This vlog is sponsored by Toast. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Toast, particularly if you remember that navy cotton linen knit that I was gushing about continuously last summer. It's kind of got like a sort of like mock neck. I have actually been wearing that quite a bit in the evening because we've been eating outside quite a lot. It's a great one to chuck on in the evening and it's still breathable. Sorry, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent here. I just wanted to add, it looks particularly nice with very loose white trousers. Anyway, if you aren't familiar with Toast, however, they are a brand that create very like functioning, reliable, comfortable clothing. What I like about Toast is that I feel like you can shop them across so many seasons and everything is very interchangeable. Everything still works together very well season to season. And I recently shot some content for them. It was a workwear focus. The images will be on Instagram by now. Yeah, by the point that this vlog is live, they will have been up on Instagram for a few days. And that collection, again, it's focusing on the sort of functionality of clothes, the comfort, the reliability, but also the durability, obviously. So there's a lot of heavy denim and just like great shirting. And I loved all of the pieces I shot, but one of the absolute hero pieces was a pair of jeans. I know, like it feels very like, when was the last time you saw me in a pair of jeans? I've kind of eliminated denim from my wardrobe because it's not something that I feel that comfortable in. I just feel like I can never find the right jeans for me until now. I probably should have worn a t-shirt actually so that you could see these a bit better, but I have got countless clips of these trousers that I can insert here. There are two reasons why I think these work for me so well and why I've fallen in love with them. Number one, they have pleats. And I think this means they feel a little bit more like a trouser jean hybrid. They don't feel like a kind of classic pair of denim. They're sort of like an in-between. Number two, they are so, so soft. I cannot explain to you how they're heavy, don't get me wrong, but the denim is very soft. So they are extremely comfortable. I wore these on the journey down to London to the shoot, actually. So I sat on a train for 2 hours and then I was dragging a suitcase across London with me. And I just felt like these just did the job. Like they were so comfortable. They looked good because they're soft. So there's not that sort of like, sometimes when a denim is really, really rigid, I struggle a bit with then how much it kind of like creases up and feels a bit crunchy. Whereas these just, I mean, I don't like to use the word obsessed, but I am truly obsessed. They've turned me into a denim person. This is so like unexpected. Also because they're black. I think because they're black as well, that is also another reason why I'm loving them so much. Me and blue denim just don't like work together at all. I maybe wear a pair of white denim a few times across summer, but apart from that, I really don't wear jeans very often. So I feel like a new version of me has been unlocked. There are some other great pieces within the collection. There was a really nice white shirt actually that I styled basically like this, but because I have many white shirts within my wardrobe already, I didn't request to keep that shirt. And there was also this great short sleeved, like collarless kind of like, I wouldn't really call it a shirt. It kind of sits in between a sort of t-shirt and shirt, which makes it great for wearing quite casually, but then so easy to just slightly dress up a little bit, but it still doesn't feel like a super smart shirt. That was really nice and had some quite nice like details on the, like a nice little plaque, like half placket. The trousers also that I styled for one of the looks, these kind of like slightly orangey toned mustard. I don't know, they sat between a mustard and a camel. Such a beautiful colour actually, which took me by surprise. Like obviously I do have beiges within my wardrobe, but I think that felt a bit more vibrant, but still like so wearable. And then there was also this great ecru denim skirt, which also came in black, which I keep thinking about it because again, it was that heavy, soft denim. But do have a look at the collection because there's some just really good, like classic durable pieces that are super easy to wear. If you yourself are also someone that just doesn't get on board with denim, but you kind of want to dip your toe in denim maybe, these could be worth looking at, honestly. Like I fear that these are going to be something that I'm just wearing all the time now, when the weather permits, obviously. Like during the heat wave, they're hanging up in my wardrobe and I was just like looking at them longingly, just waiting to be able to wear them. They're just so comfortable. They're the type of trouser that when I put it on, I'm just like, it just clicks. I feel comfortable. I feel confident. I don't really have to think about the clothing. It just works with my body. And I love it when clothing does that. I love it when I'm like, it's almost like, it's not something that I'm then focused on throughout the day because it's just kind of working for me. So yeah, I just keep looking at them like, they're such a good shape. Yes, they're very big and, you know, wide, but I like that. I really, really like that. Anyway, my camera battery is flashing at me. So I think that is a signal to stop chatting away. But yeah, some really good pieces within the workwear collection that they've created. So do have a look if you're not familiar with Toast or with their workwear collection. Oh, it feels so good to finally be back out running. I think this is my first run in about 2 weeks. It's been too hot, but today has finally felt like an okay temperature to get out and go for a little run. I always find the first run after a little bit of a break is always really, really good, particularly when I have a new song that I'm hyperfixated on. Much like the songs from Girls, which I am still obsessed with listening to when I'm out running. I am now obsessed with that Rhythm of the Night song, thanks to Widow's Bay, and that one scene where Patricia dances to the song. If you haven't watched Widow's Bay, then like if you didn't sign up for Apple TV to watch Severance, if you didn't sign up to Apple TV to watch Silo, then please, please, please sign up to Apple TV to watch Widow's Bay. I personally think it is the best TV show of the year. It's this very clever blend of horror and comedy. The comedic timing of every character in that show is impeccable, and Patricia in particular is just brilliant. I just love her so much. And now my TikTok algorithm is full of Patricia edits to that song. And I'm loving it so much that I think I might do a rewatch this week. I'll see if Dean's up for rewatching it. If not, I'll just do a little rewatch on my own, because I think now I'm seeing a lot of these edits again. I realised there was a lot of very like subtle, funny bits that I think I didn't fully appreciate. So I'm definitely gonna do a rewatch. But I think it's been nominated for some awards. So I hope it wins, because. And I've just seen that it's been renewed for a second season, so I mean it has to be, because the way, like, it was such a cliffhanger ending, and there's just so much that hasn't been answered. So yeah, very happy that season 2 is on its way. But it was one of you that watches that recommended Widow's Bay to me, and I am so thankful, because it wasn't what I expected. Like, I watched the trailer and I was like, oh yeah, I'll give this a go. And was just so much better than I originally expected it to be.
There?
Perfect, yeah. Do you remember, I think it was back in March, I said we desperately needed blinds in here because of how bright it gets, and also how warm it gets because of all of the glass, obviously. Well, look what we finally have. Took a while to decide on blind type and the colour, and then these blinds had quite a long lead time because they're all custom size. But I'm so pleased with how they look. Almost, I mean, pretty much an identical match to the oak frames. They're from Colour & Co, and I think they pretty much specialise in bamboo blinds. There's lots of different options, different colours, different weights. You can get blackout ones or light diffusing ones like this. I should have taken a video of how it looks in the morning, actually, because the sun's now above the extension. It's kind of like almost over there now. You can kind of see from the direction of the light. But in the morning now, they diffuse the light, so you still get a really nice glow in here, but you can actually sit in here without being blinded. And then if they're like this, kind of like half down, you get this really nice dapple through the plants. But because the sun kind of sits here, the real sort of like harsh light is diffused. I'll try and take a video actually tomorrow morning, and I'll insert it here, because it's so much nicer now, and it means I can actually sit at this table without overheating or getting blinded by the sun. Otherwise I was having to wait until like after lunch to come and sit here and do any work. It also means this room just feels that little bit cozier in the evening and kind of just feels a bit more framed. We didn't bother with blinds elsewhere because it doesn't really need it. It's just here, this front section that gets so much like extreme light, because afterwards the sun kind of goes up and then it doesn't come directly through these windows, so it's not quite as harsh. It's just this front section. But yeah, they're so nice. Really, really pleased. And yeah, it's not that this space is overlooked. I think there's a house that, I mean, if they could maybe see, but barely, because of all of the plants, and they themselves have got some pretty big trees in their garden. But it does mean now in the evening we can put these down and it just feels a little bit cozier and a little bit more private. Yeah, gosh, it's made such a difference. I'm trying not to make this vlog too outfit or clothing heavy, because the last couple of vlogs have had quite a huge focus on either outfits or clothing, which I worry if I do that vlog after vlog after vlog, it gets a bit monotonous. But I thought, do you know what? I just want to very quickly add to the white trouser, the white cotton poplin trouser discourse that has like taken fashion Substack and Instagram by storm. Like, everyone seems hell bent on finding the perfect white cotton trouser this summer. And these are by no means perfect, but I think they deserve a mention, especially if you're looking for something with a little bit of a sort of barrel shape to them. These are the Arquette barrel leg ones, size extra small, very lightweight, very comfortable. You can see how lightweight they are because you can see the pockets. I bought the black version last year, and I was expecting these to be of the same weight, but they're not. They're a lot thinner, which, to be honest, is probably a bit more practical for this time of year. Shirt is Cordera. It's this like ever so slightly, you can barely see, but it's an ever so slightly green toned grey. But when I say ever so slightly, I mean like the tiniest hint of green, with a very, very fine pinstripe. I was going to call this Terrace then. This is not Terrace. This is 90s crossbody. I haven't filled it yet. And then Canal loafer, or slip-on, sorry, not loafer. And that's it. I'm too overstimulated to put jewellery on around here today, which is also why I've slicked back my hair. I'm on a fabric shopping mission this morning because I'd like to try and make my own sarong and a scarf. I really want just a plain black sarong, but I'm specifically looking for one that's a sort of silky twill. I've got a cotton one from it's an Agni that's incredible. I've had it for about 5 years now. It's looking a bit rough around the edges, you know, it's got the smell of sun cream baked into it. It's fantastic. But I want something that feels like I could wear it as a skirt in the evening, but also easily wear to the beach in the day, which is why I'm thinking, oh, I put the exposure so far, oh there we go, you can see me a bit better now, which is why I'm thinking something a bit more with a silky finish would be able to do both of those things. Could I find that on the internet? No. I did such a deep dive, and I know it exists out there in a million other colours and patterns, just not black, or at least in the corners of the internet that I was looking. I just could not find a plain black one, and any black ones that I was finding either weren't the correct fabric or they weren't the right size, because I'm looking for something, I guess, that's quite big that can double up as a skirt that actually covers up my legs. So I thought, I'm going to try and make one. How hard can it be? All I've got to do is get the fabric cut to sort of size that I want, and then I'll just hem the edge. And then my scarf project, I saw this beautiful silk Dupion scarf recently, and it was about €300, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get stung with customs, and it was this sort of olive green colour, and I just thought, I don't even know if I'll wear this that much. And then again I thought, why don't I try and make this? If it's not, it doesn't have to be the exact colour, but it's that sort of silk Dupion fabric that I thought could be quite nice to make a little scarf with. So I'm now walking to my local fabric store to see what they have. I am confident that I will find something for a sarong. It's the silk Dupion I'm not sure on, but it's quite chaotic in there, and you do have to rummage around. So I'm not completely ruling it out. I might find something. We don't have a lot of oh my gosh, those flowers. These flowers are massive. We don't have a lot of fabric stores in the city. It's quite slim picking. So the main one that we do have is there's a lot there, but it can be hit and miss. It kind of just depends what you're looking for. So wish me luck. I need to get better at remembering to like hold my camera up like this rather than like this, because this is such a horrible angle. That trip to the fabric store was meant to be, truly meant to be. I found this silky touch, like cotton. It's cotton, but it has a sort of silky, sort of twill-like feel to it. I found it on the Last Chance rail, and it is pretty much the exact size I was looking for. I couldn't believe it. Otherwise, I was struggling to find what I was looking for in black. So I'm really pleased about that. There were some really nice silks. I saw this sort of golden brown silk that I thought I could make quite a cool scarf. They had some silk dupion, but not in the colour I was looking for. They did have some nice colours in a polyester dupion, but yeah, nothing was quite right. I did, however, fall in love with a black shantung silk, which I think I'm going to go back for when I figure out what I will use it for. I wouldn't use it for a beach sarong. I think it could work very nice for a wrap skirt, you know, like a tie skirt. But there's another project I have in my mind that I think is a little bit above my sewing skill set. So I could try it myself, but maybe it'd be better to take this project to someone who could make it for me. But inspired by the skirts that Carven have done recently, I thought the shantung silk could be really nice for a very simple sort of knee-length pull-on skirt with an elastic waist. It's the elastic waist bit that I don't know if I would be able to. I don't know how to do pattern cutting either, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. It would actually end up being terrible, I think. So, but there wasn't much silk left on the roll, which makes me want to go back for it even more. And then at least I've got it, and then if I figure out what I want to do with it, then I can either take the fabric to, you know, someone who can make it for me, or I can, you know, do something really simple with it. But just as I've been walking home, I've been browsing Etsy, and there's a lot of nice silk dupions on there in some really nice like olive green colours. So I'm thinking I might order some fabric from Etsy and try and make a scarf from that fabric. I was going to come home straight afterwards got completely sidetracked by book shopping and then Marks and Spencer's, so I am now carrying home a very heavy bag of food and books, and lots of snacks mainly, but it is England v Argentina this evening, so I need to get the snacks in. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that. And then this weekend I'm going to attempt to. I was speaking to the woman as she was cutting not cutting the fabric, as she was packing it up for me, and I just said to her what I'm trying to make and how easy it is, because it's such a small hem that I'm going to sew along the side. And she said, so long as I just tape it down, it will be fine. So yeah, that's a nice little project this weekend. So the England-Argentina game is currently on. As you can see, I'm not watching it. Not because I don't want to. I find football, particularly when there's a lot at stake, too tense. It's far too tense for me. So instead, I'm sat in the spare room with a glass of orange wine, which I got from Marks and Spencer's. They had a couple of orange wines and a pet nat. I was like, go on, Marks and Spencer's. It's not quite as like funky and fermented as I was hoping it would be, but it's still pretty nice and light. It's a tasty wine. And I'm about to catch up on last Friday's Gardener's World. So the complete opposite of a tense football game, and as I'm watching it, I will be able to judge whether we are winning or not based on Dean's clapping and cheering from downstairs. I'm hoping Susie will join me shortly. When I sit here, she'll sometimes come and sit on the window ledge. So I'm hoping she comes to join me. I've been battling a bit of a bindweed issue in the garden, which is very common in the UK. But now that everything's more established, it feels like the plants have got strength to fight back, and I think the battle is finally coming to an end. Because for the last few weeks I've had to come out here every few days to just check, because bindweed has a tendency to wrap itself round, hence the name bindweed, wraps itself round plants and will suffocate them pretty quickly. It grows very fast, but I think it's now, like, I feel like all of the plants are now strong enough to fight back. Also, I think the lack of rain is kind of helping. Like, I feel like recently, last few days, I've just noticed that the bindweed isn't quite as aggressive. I should really be wearing long sleeves because I'm not actually sure what the proper name for it is, but I just know it as sticky weed. It's started to appear in the garden, and I'm highly allergic to it. So when I'm removing it, I do need to be quite careful that it doesn't touch my skin, but it's still too warm to be wearing long sleeves when I'm out here. What I need, really, is I just need to come out here and essentially just like some opera gloves, don't I? Just some nice full arm opera gloves. That would do the job. I think I'm going to have to cut back some of this fennel soon. Oh, there's one down there. It's not in shot, I don't think, that's really quite tall. So as you know, yesterday, or last night, I was watching Gardener's World, and it was quite interesting actually, because this episode was filmed at a flower show. I don't really know much about flower shows apart from Chelsea Flower Show. This one was called RHS Badminton, I believe. And I actually found it super interesting. I learnt a lot about plants that I'd never heard of before, learnt about plants that we have in our garden, which was quite helpful, and ended up making like a nice little list of plants that I'd one day like to have in our garden. And also just jotting down notes on sort of like just good care tips and that kind of thing, you know. If you have watched Gardener's World, you'll know that they do like a segment in the show where they go and visit a garden somewhere. Just a regular garden that's, you know, maybe just like just an interesting garden basically. And actually a couple of weeks ago I can hear Juno. She doesn't like it when I'm out here too long, and then she wants me to go in and play with her. So I better wrap up my de-weeding pretty quickly. Yeah, actually a couple of weeks ago they featured a garden in Norwich that was so beautiful. And I was thinking it would be so nice to be featured. Juno. I was thinking actually it'd be quite nice to have our garden featured on Garden as well. But then I was like, oh, we can't really take credit for this. This was all Semper. So, you know, maybe it's kind of cheating a little bit. But you never know. Maybe next year I'll manifest that, a little feature on there. You just come and sit on me so you can get massages now, don't you? I just finished London Falling. Gripped from start to finish. Yeah, the way in which he tells that story just had me hooked all the way through. And I kind of, I mean, I didn't really know much about the story prior to reading. So I didn't really know if there was any sort of, I guess, not resolution, but something. I didn't know if something was coming at the end that was like going to almost not give the parents' closure, but like some sort of new piece of information that might kind of give them a little bit more of an insight into what actually happened. But no, and that's not a spoiler, me saying that. But I kind of got to the end, and I was just sort of like blown away by the whole story itself, and then the kind of retelling of it. Yeah, I kind of like, I want more, but essentially I can't have more because like that is probably the most that can be told, really, isn't it? Anyway, I was just thinking, what shall I read next? And then very serendipitously, did I say that right? That didn't sound right. A post from Pandora Sykes popped up on my Instagram, a really big pile of all the books that she's read so far this year, and I thought, right, I'm going to screenshot this and have a look through. Pandora obviously gets sent a lot of books before they're released, so there are several titles in the pile that aren't out yet. There are also a lot of hardbacks, and I don't love buying lots of hardbacks because I think I've said this before, like they're just big and heavy, aren't they? Like they're not the most easy thing to carry around in your bag. Anyway, as I was looking through the pile, I noticed that there was a Min Jin Lee title that I'd not heard of, and I was like, wait, what? Bear in mind, I don't really keep up to date with like the book world, so I don't really know what's coming out. I kind of just go into my local bookshop and browse through things every few weeks, or kind of just rely on people sending me recommendations. So I had no idea that she was releasing a new book this year. So Pandora's obviously got a pre-release of her new book, and it looks pretty chunky as well. Min Jin Lee wrote Pachinko, by the way, which is one of my favourite books. So I am really excited for that. I think end of September I saw was the release date. I might pre-order it actually, and I just feel like that way I know I've got it coming. But then it's gonna be, if it's hardback, it's gonna be so big. But that has not answered my question. What should I read next? I have Northwoods by Daniel Mason on my pile. I also have There Are Rivers in the Sky by Elif Shafak, which has been on the pile for ages, and I think that might be next. Yeah, maybe I'll do that one next. Look, Susie has spotted a distant relative, perhaps. This actually spooked me quite a bit because I saw this cat before I saw Susie. I thought Susie had got out somehow. She's chilling in the garden. I am being very organised this week and getting ahead of my vlog editing duties by banking and editing my clips in Premiere Pro day by day, versus how I normally put a vlog together is about 2 days before I want to upload a vlog, I'll sit and spend the entire day in front of my laptop editing a whole vlog in one go, which leaves me quite frazzled by the end of it. And then often what happens is it will be like this mad rush to get it exported and then uploaded onto YouTube, which can often take quite a while because we have terrible internet speed. It can sometimes take like 5 hours for a YouTube video to upload, which is often why they'll end up going live at like 9 p.m. Anyway, I've been giving myself an hour or two to just each day to just like look at what I filmed in the day, think about how I want to format it, get it into Premiere Pro, tweak it a bit, and then I'm done. So by the end of the week, I'm going to have this whole vlog just like finished, and there won't be any panic to get it exported. I'm like, why don't I usually do it this way? Why I need to do it like this from now on, because this is so much easier. Anyway, I am going to give myself probably another half an hour of editing, and then I think I'm going to try 10k. I've got this feeling that I can do it today. Sometimes if my energy's right and I've had a good lunch and a good breakfast, I can just feel that I've got 10k in me. I've been doing 7 the last few times I've been out, and I felt like I could maybe push myself, but I've not done it. So I think I'm feeling it. I think I can do 10k today. It's quite windy, which would be nice breeze. Yeah, I've got that 10k feeling. Sorry, I'm literally mid-run, very out of breath. Just hit the halfway mark. Had to take a different route because the field that I usually run through, which is completely fine to run through, was closed today. So a different route. However, I've been rewarded with this incredible view. Right, only 5 more to go. I can't actually see my phone screen, so I have no idea how red I am. I imagine pretty red. I got to 7 kilometers. Oh, I've got my headphones in. I don't know if the audio on this, oh my gosh, I'm so red. I don't know if the audio on this is going to be terrible. I apologise if it is, because it'll be my headphones sort of picking up the audio. Anyway, I got to 7, and all of a sudden this energy came over me that I was just like, I can do this. I've got this. And then I got to 8, and I was like, shit, I can't do this. So I stopped. My left eye has been streaming the whole time. So I stopped. I put on Yeah Yeahs and just locked in for the last 2k, and I did it. It was a push, quite the push at the end, but I'm very proud of myself. I told you, I felt it, didn't I? I felt it in my body. I thought, today's the day I do 10. Sometimes with 10 or any kind of long run really, I get myself into this really good mindset where I'm like, right, well, I'm in this for the long haul. So I just get myself into like a good pace. I get myself comfortable. That's the key. I get myself into a comfortable pace, posture check everything's all like good, and then that's it. I'm locked in, and I just kind of keep going without really thinking about anything. It also helped that I had a playlist that I'd never listened to before. I think it was just called like indie dance mix on Spotify, maybe. Very good. So yeah, that's my thoughts and feedback. Okay, actually, I don't look too bad. Sorry, it's quite dark in here. I've got the curtains fully closed in an attempt to keep this room cool whilst it's still quite warm. This morning I am going out to view a studio space. I am interested in finding a space that I can use for several different things, really. Oh, do I want to wear an earring today? I don't know if I like how that... No, I think actually I'll do a nice necklace maybe. Yeah, so I'm looking for a space that has good natural light, clean walls, it can be a concrete floor, wooden floor, just a good floor that I can use for several different things really. Shooting content. It's always handy to have a blank space to do reels and images as well. Kind of like those toast images that I shot actually. They were shot in a very simple like warehouse space. Something like that would be great. And B, I think with just like a few of these little sort of like DIY clothing projects that I have in my mind, I would love a space where I can have my sewing machine out at all times. At the moment, when I get it out, it's on the dining room table. So it has to really be packed away at the end of the day. And depending on what I'm doing, sometimes the dining table still doesn't feel like a big enough space for it. So it would be nice to just have a table that I can set up in a studio space and just have that out at all times and know that I've got that space when I need to just either do my, like alterations, or, if there are these projects that I kind of want to try, it would be great to just have that space for that. And also just like, there are some things that I want to shoot that are just like more product based, like a little bit of still life type stuff. And there's just quite a lot of times when I think, I just really wish in this situation I had a kind of clear blank space. So yeah, I'm going to go have a look at a studio space that's in a building in the city that's quite hard to get into. It's the type of building that like people never leave because the studio spaces are so nice, and when they do leave, they get filled really quickly by, it's very much like a word of mouth type thing. So they get filled by like someone else who's already in the building, or like a friend, or, you know, that kind of thing. So I was actually quite surprised to see that someone was advertising a space on Instagram, and I was just like, I want to go see this. So fingers crossed. It looks really, really nice. The light looks really good. And yeah, it would be nice to just have, I guess, a space that I can go to that isn't home. You know, we all know that I love being at home, but I do need to get out. I know I kind of say how much I love being at home, and, you know, like, but, you know, I still need to go out. Like it becomes a bit of a problem when I've kind of been at home for 4 days in a row and haven't spoken to anyone. And so also creating content in our home is great, but it can often feel quite messy at times, and it kind of, I guess, slightly blurs a boundary of like home space / workspace, because there'll be some areas where I'm like, no, we have to have it this way because it looks good for a photo, and I have to keep it that way because that's where I shoot content. And I don't really like being in that mentality about so many areas of the house. I kind of just want the house to just be what it's going to be without me thinking about whether I can use it for shooting in. So it would be nice, again, just to have that blank space when I think, right, you know what, I want to do like a little bit of a styling video, or, you know, like a reel or something. I've got this blank space and I can go and do that. So yeah, I am actually going to sign the vlog off here, because we have a weekend ahead of us of just kind of like planning. Dean's off work next week, so we will plan painting the lounge. There's a few other bits that we need to do before we paint it. Yeah, there's just like quite a few jobs that Dean would like to get done while his tea's off. So we're just going to make a plan, like an order of works basically. So there won't actually be that much more fun stuff to vlog over the next couple of days. So there will probably be another vlog in maybe like 2 to 3 weeks time. I'm not sure. I've got a couple of ideas actually. One of the things I want to do in the next vlog is kind of like a, I don't know, like top 5 favorite things within our home, because there are lots of things within our home that I love and I don't really like show them enough. Like they get obviously featured in the background or, you know, whatever, but yeah, like I thought that was quite a good idea. And yeah, I've jotted down several other ideas for the future vlogs. So yeah, until then, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.